Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's the afternoon already. The morning has just like flown by already, and I really wanted to get this video out to you guys today. So one thing I wanted to bring up with you guys and ask you is basically about apartments. So right now temporarily we are in an apartment. It was just kind of supposed to be like a temporary place, I guess, right now. Since we just barely moved here to Florida, we kind of just needed a space to kind of start out with, and then eventually we'll find a place here that will be a little bit bigger for our family and obviously a lot less stressful. Yesterday I kind of talked a lot about like just being outside and the neighbor, just being outside and the bugs and no yard and nowhere to really play with the kids. So right when we first moved here, there was absolutely no one that lived upstairs. So in our first 2 weeks or so of living here, it was just dead silent upstairs. There was no neighbor really anywhere near us. We had one neighbor that was across the hall and like way down to the other corner of like the building, and that was the only neighbor we would kind of see as we would walk back and forth. There were new neighbors that moved upstairs above us. Having neighbors is really nothing that's new to us. In our previous place that we rented, we did have a neighbor that lived downstairs, and so we did hear, her coming in and out, her, opening and closing cupboards, her music, her TV. So we're used to having like a neighbor, right? But this neighbor upstairs, me and Dan are thinking that it's like a single parent, like a single mother who has like a teenage son. And I mean, this kid is like party central. I think this parent works really long hours. They probably are like a nurse or someone, and they're working super long overtime. So they're probably working like overtime every night, and they're gone all night long, and then they come home at like 5 a.m. because we hear the footsteps at about 5 a.m. So I mean, I don't know what the situation is, but it is loud booming music. There's kids just like on the balcony, like right above us, and they just like come outside and you can hear them like they're standing right next to you. And it's just like laughter and giggling, and the music is just pounding, and they're talking, and you can hear them like jumping up and down. And I mean, this is at like super, like first of all, and it started at like 10 o'clock at night, so the kids were already in bed. There was one night in particular, and it was, I think it was a Saturday night. I was already asleep, and Dan kind of came in their bedroom, and this was at midnight. He came in and he kind of woke me up, and he's like, "Can't you hear this? What's going on up there? This has been going on for a while. Like, can you hear this?" And I kind of like, yeah, like I've kind of been stirring a lot since I went to bed, and I think I went to bed like 9:30 that night, and I kind of have been kind of awake, and then I go back to bed a couple times. And I mean, it was the loudest we've ever heard it. So he was like, "Should I just call the cops? What do I do?" And that's when we both agreed, like, yeah, we'll call the cops. So we called them, and I mean, it took them well over like 50 minutes before they even got here. We heard them actually just upstairs, and they just knocked on the door, and then we heard like, and then all of a sudden someone got to the door, and they're like, everybody, it's the cops. So you can imagine like all these teenage kids hurried to knock the music, and then they all ran to like the back of like, which is like basically right above like our bathroom area over here. And they all just like booked it down here into like a corner, one of these corner bedrooms. And like one person answered the door, and the policeman, we just heard him, and he was like, "Hey, just wrap it up, go home." And this other kid at the door, it was a girl, and she's like, "I'm the only one here, it's just me, like, I'm sorry." And then he like left, and me and Dan were like, did he really like leave? And so then another like 15 minutes went by, and sure enough, they came like out, and they were all giggly. They turned their music back on, and by this time, this was well after 1 o'clock. It was like 1:32 a.m. and we called again, And we were like, the policeman just like came to the door and knocked and then told them to wrap it up, and then they just left again. And the party is still going on. There's still the kids and the laughter and so you need to send somebody again. So I think this time it was maybe 20 or 30 minutes, and we saw two officers. They were walking along the back of the apartment, so kind of like our backyard kind of area, which isn't really a yard. And we saw them like with their flashlights, and they kind of were like holding their flashlights up on their floor. I guess they're kind of like trying to look and see like how many or who it was or how loud it was. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't like loud enough to them or something, but I don't think they even knocked on the door. We saw them go up the stairs. So there is, I showed you yesterday, but there's stairs just right outside our apartment door that leads up to the next story. And then that's the next door. So we thought they were going to go up and then they were going to knock and like take the kids out. I don't think they even knocked because Dan was like listening for it, and he was like right below the door like waiting for them to knock, and he never heard them knock. And then the party like continued to go. So I mean, luckily like none of the kids woke up. I think Logan did tell us in the morning that he kind of woke up, but he went right back to bed because it was still nighttime. But luckily, like since we moved here and we started having the problems with these neighbors, we have been using Jet's nightlight, and it does have the option of having the white noise, but we never really used it very much until like more recently, where the neighbors have started being more loud and they would wake him up from naps and things like that. So we have started using the white noise every time he lays down for naps and bedtime now, and he has been sleeping like a rock. Like we should have been using this like way earlier on, and I totally regret it. We've been using that and it's been blocking out all the noise, thankfully, so he hasn't been waking up. But this night we stayed up till like well after 3 or 4 a.m. And then even once they settled down up there and everybody left, Dan like went right to sleep. But it's like I almost had like a second wind because I already fell asleep and had like like 2 hours of sleep, and then I woke up and then I was kind of like that second wind. So I took like probably an hour for me to like go back to sleep again. Does anybody else have like horror stories about these neighbors? Like what do you usually do? I have a sister that told me a story once about a loud neighbor, and she just told me that she would use like a broomstick, and she would like hit the broomstick on the ceiling whenever they were loud. But I mean, that's not really a way to like take care of the problem. Like me and Dan have both also thought like, oh, we should like go up there or try and catch the parent or whatever and tell them what's going on, or at least find these kids and ask them if they would stop. But we feel like that would make the problem worse because it almost like they would find joy in it, knowing that they were pissing us off. We don't want to like light the fire and make our situation worse. We have contacted multiple times the apartment complex, like the main office. So since we have moved, we have tried calling, and every single time nobody answers that. You just have to leave a voicemail and nobody calls you back ever. Basically, we just do emails. Most of them don't even go unanswered, but we wanted to make sure that somebody was aware of the situation. So whenever there was like a horrible night and they were just like being so loud, or they would be partying or whatever, we would end up sending these emails and we'd be telling them what the situation was and what was going on. I mean, we never heard back from them, but we think that maybe they were trying to contact whoever was living upstairs and telling them, hey, you need to like stop this right now. Because there were some nights when we would hear like arguing, or there was some days that it was actually quiet. This week actually, we went like 3 days without hearing like any noise at all. Like there was no footsteps or there was nothing at all. It was like completely silent. So we thought that maybe they even like moved out, and we were like crossing our fingers and hoping. But then I think yesterday we did end up hearing footsteps, and we were like, oh man. We've even like considered even like leaving them a note and just like taping it like on their door and just say, be considerate of others, please be more quiet. Or I mean, we don't, and that way they don't really know who it's even from. They could think that it was from management, maybe they could think that it was from us. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it was telling them like, please be more considerate of other people. But anyway, that was just kind of like our more recent thing about being here. I mean, it really hasn't been bad. I mean, it still has been really enjoyable. But that part, like lately, it's just been these new neighbors that have really been like ridiculous. I mean, really bad. Anyway. And we're trying to be good neighbors ourselves. I mean, it's almost like we don't really know like what else to do at this point. I mean, we haven't had another really bad night lately, so. But anyway, so let us know like what you think, what you would suggest. If any of you have ever gone through this, kind of laugh. I mean, this is just like hysterical. Now, so right now the kids are actually playing outside. They're doing really good. Usually it's been kind of hard here because there are so many people that I've kind of never wanted to leave them outside alone. Especially with like so many cars kind of driving up and down. I mean, Jet, of course not, but Logan and Charlie are just outside and they're being really good. And then Dan's with Jet. We were going to try and go to the park this morning, but this morning we ended up just getting really, really busy, and so now it's like already lunchtime. So we're gonna try and get some lunch, and anyway. So yeah. Hi, say good morning, friends. I just woke up. So I just had a banana snack because I was hungry. What are you doing? You want a drink? You want a drink? Here, baby. You want a drink? Hey, don't hit. So Jet just woke up from his nap. He's got the biggest bed head I think I've ever seen him with. Look at that. Crazy hairdo.
The biggest head.
Bed head. Look at that. Look at that poof. Is that good water? Are you thirsty?
Hi.
Hi. Not your puppies.
Hi guys.
What have you guys been up to today?
We have been playing outside, and then his name is Biscuit, and his name is Puppy Dog House.
Puppy dog house.
And then
Oh
Jet woke up.
my, thank you. You just even give me kisses. Slobbery banana kisses. Thank you so much. I love them. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Can I have a kiss? I love you. Can you say I?
I'm your puppy.
Mwah. Can you say I? I. Mwah. Love. Love you. He's running away. So the kids are like super obsessed with dogs, especially those two that they had. Usually they're fighting over them, or Jetty will want one and Charlie will refuse to let him play with one. What, you wanna come up here with me?
Up.
Yeah, up. Up. There he is. Hi, Jetty Willie. Up. You gonna come up here? You just got banana on my lap. Thank you. You gonna come up? Come on. There he goes. He's already talking so much. You gonna try and say something? What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Say, dog. What does a dog say? Roof, roof, roof. What did doggy say? Oh, excuse you. What does the kitty say? That's right. What does a cow say? What does the cow say? That's right. Good boy. What does the snake say? Good boy. Good job. What is another animal that you know? What does a monkey say? No, a monkey. Monkey. What does a monkey say? No, that's not a lion. What does a lion say? That's right. What does the monkey say? Monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Monkey. You want to say the monkey? Good boy. That's good. Monkey, that's right. Good boy. He's been doing so good with saying words or saying the animal sounds and stuff. He's really been loving doing that. So we have a bedtime routine with him every night where so he just loves books. He always runs to his bedroom and we tell him, go grab your blankie and some books, and he'll grab his blankie and he'll start picking out some books, and he'll start crawling onto the rocker seat that we have in there, and then then I'll pick him up and then I'll put him on my lap, and then we'll put the blanket on top of his lap, and then we'll read his books, and he'll just if it was up to him, he would choose another book after another book after another after another, and he would just never want to go to bed. But that's basically like turned into our bedtime routine because he just loves books so much. Yes. I think we did the same sort of routine with Charlie as well when she was a baby. But anyway, it's just something that we've all kind of, me and him both have just grown to love. And it's funny being able to watch him grow in that way too, as he points to all the pictures and he makes the animal sounds. And one of his very favorite books is The Goodnight Moon. And that was actually Charlie's favorite book too when she was his age. But the book got so, when she was his age, the book got so worn. I mean, it was a book that we read every day, and it was a book that she also would like find and open and like read herself all the time. And so the cover ended up ripping off the page. Like, I mean, it was a board book, but I mean, it just got ripped apart. So we did end up buying a new one for Jet, and he has been stuck to that book ever since as well. So he loves pointing all the different pictures. So like if you ask him, like, where's the balloon? Where's the star? He knows what I'm talking about. Say hello. This is like his regular thing to do ever, and it's like a daily thing, like multiple times a day, daily. He just like I really wish that we almost had like a entertainment system that just had that had like doors on them that would open and close. I think at least that would help a little bit, but he just won't leave these DVDs alone ever. I mean, I'm sure this is like a popular thing in like everyone's house, but I don't know what else to do to get him to stop. And at first it was just like the movies, like he would just pull the movies out, and now it started turning into opening the movies and taking out the DVDs, and then he would like run around the house with just the DVD in his hand, and then he started also like taking out the paper cover on them as well, and I'm like, no, and then he'll start ripping those too. So I mean, it's just like impossible to keep anything nice around here. Hi, Jeff. Can you say night night? So the other two kids are already in bed. They're all tucked in and everything. I'm about to go put him to bed. I just gave him a fresh diaper. Thanks for hanging out with us today, you guys. We had a whole lot of fun. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and that way you can get notified every time we post a video. We'll see you guys all later. Thanks. Bye.